Are we live? Maybe? Yeah, there we are.
Yeah, we're live. Yay!
Yay.
Hello, everyone. We are live streaming. I was going to, we were going to play some video games tonight, but we don't have to get up till kind of late in the morning, and I really am not going to waste a good night's sleep on staying up till midnight playing video games. Apologies, but we're going to do the next best thing. We're a couple of days late on this, but we just got through watching the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty that just happened a couple of days ago, and I want to take this opportunity to discuss this.
Yay.
This is the Rick and Morty review of Pickle Rick, the third episode of season.
How about we introduce ourselves? You want to do that?
Yeah, I guess that would be a thing, wouldn't it?
Okay.
I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amber.
And we're Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee.
Yay.
Where August 19th, we're going to have a nice little Wizard World promotional event. We're going to be giving away 2 pairs of tickets to Wizard World in Nashville, which is going to be September 8th through 10th. But you can come on down on August 19th and win a pair of tickets. We're going to be giving away 2 pairs. And so I want to take this opportunity. And again, apologize. If you click on our video thinking that it's actually the episode Rick and Morty, Pickle Rick, I'm not going to lie. I made it that so people would click on it. But maybe once they get here, they can grow to love us. But no, this is available even without. I like what Adult Swim's doing, and we talked about this last episode. Adult Swim has it set up now to where the most recent Rick and Morty episode, you can go to their website and actually watch it without having to have a cable login or anything.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. I'm a really big fan of what they're doing there. And remember, if you have your own thoughts on the Pickle Rick episode, hop onto the chat. We've already got a handful of people watching right now. Hop into the chat and give your thoughts if you've watched it. And remember, there will be immense spoilers for the episode. I mean, it's not like Rick and Morty is really plot heavy, but a lot of the stuff that's going on right now does tie in. I'm going to make sure our computer does not restart in the middle of our live stream, because it's giving me one of those things that's like, hey, your
restart now to update it.
Yeah, but I'd rather not do that.
No.
But yeah, if you have any thoughts on Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick.
Now, to the episode itself, I'll say, they showed Pickle Rick during the trailer. Before, whenever they announced it, and they had that little live stream. Because remember, I was going all crazy thinking they might show another episode, and come to find out, it was just the actual trailer for season 3, and I'll say, you saw the Tiny Rick episode from season 2, I think. One of my least favorite episodes of all time.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it, and everybody was like, Tiny Rick, Tiny Rick. No, I think there's 20 episodes of Rick and Morty total, and that's easily in my bottom 5. Probably in my bottom 3. That, and aside from a couple of key parts, I didn't really care for the Anatomy Park episode.
Oh, yeah.
Except for a couple of highlights. Where the old dude... I like the part in Anatomy Park where they blew the Santa guy up really big, and he was nude, the homeless guy, and it was like you could see parts of his body were over America, and I think his head was in New York, and his feet were over the Hollywood sign, and they were like, let's go to Colorado, and the guy's like, oh my god, you can see the outline of a penis coming down, the shadow. I about lost it. But otherwise, to me, a very slow episode that I didn't care much for, except for a few notable catchphrases and some highlights. But Pickle Rick, I honestly expected this to just be more of the Tiny Rick episode, and because I thought so negatively on that episode, I wasn't really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, you were just like, oh my god, it's gonna be him as a pickle the whole time.
Yeah, I was not feeling good about it, but I was proven wrong.
It was a really good
absolutely. This I actually I would have to say that this episode was better than the last one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
This one was
funny.
actually really good. It wasn't quite as good as the premiere.
No.
But it was better than last episode.
Yeah, it was definitely better than last episode.
But yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with this one. Summary: Rick turns himself into a pickle at the very beginning of the episode. It happens off camera. Morty finds him. He's like basically laying on a on like the workbench in the garage. Yeah, and he's like, he ends up he's basically a pickle. He's just a pickle with Rick's face, and he's like laying there on the workbench, and everybody figures out, you figure out real quick that they're on their way to like a family therapy session because the dad is gone, and they're like in the midst of like splitting up or whatever, and
kids are acting out at school.
Yeah,
that's why the school made it mandatory. That's why they were going to begin with.
Yeah.
Let's just make that clear because we know these people are not going to go on their free will. That's one of the things. The school required it to be mandatory because Summer was huffing a pottery that wasn't done, and
it was a pottery enamel.
Yes, and Morty peed on himself in class.
It seems like that might happen normally, though.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think he has such anxiety in general that would happen anyway, but I don't know. I guess it was a new level for him.
Because, like, Morty, they've established on several different occasions that Morty is almost like special needs. Like,
yes.
And not only that, but he acknowledges it. Like, he didn't know it until, like, a couple episodes in. And, like, I think his dad at one point said in front of him, like, oh, Morty's not all there or something. And Morty's like, what? But now he's almost become accepting of it because he actually, what was that one part I saw of an episode where it may have been last episode or a commercial or something, and somebody asked him, is everybody in your family stupid? And he was like, well, me and my dad for sure.
Yes.
I was like,
and it was hereditary.
Yeah. But there's actually, I don't know if you've seen the episode or not, but where all of the Ricks like got together from all the alternate timelines and everything. Mm-hmm. And come to find out, the reason they have Morty with them is because the Ricks are like very smart, and having like Morty apparently is so stupid or so his IQ's so low that it acts as a shield to where like the Intergalactic Federation can't find him.
Nice.
And so he carries Morty with him as like a intelligence shield.
Wow.
Like his dumbness
overshadows his
well, that
smartness?
kind of freaked me out. There's like somebody walking around outside on a phone, and I just about freaked.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, it did. It acts as like just dumb. Mm-hmm. Counteracts and makes it to where they can't be located. And there was actually an episode where they had an evil Morty who had like outsmarted everybody, and he had like it looked almost like the Epcot Center dome or whatever, and it had Morty's like pasted up, like tied all over this dome. And it was like
I've seen that.
Yeah, it was like a Morty shield, and they were like, he was like torturing them and stuff.
That was an episode I probably caught the tail end of. I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean they make it a point to show like how stupid Morty is, basically. But they pretty much said to heck with Rick and left him there because he had it set up to where like a syringe was going to fall down with like a turn him back into human serum. Yeah. And they took the serum and left him there.
Mom did. She's tired of his crap, is what it boils down to. Then,
like, the cat ran over and started messing with him, knocking him around stuff, and actually knocked him onto the sidewalk outside the driveway. And it was weird because fate saved him. Mm-hmm. Because he was going to die. There was no way he could make it. Mm-mm. And he fell out. He started cooking. He was going to dry out and die right there.
Yes.
And then it started raining, and it knocked him down into the sewer. And
Oh God, the
yeah, I noticed like you just about got sick due to the sewer scene.
That. It was rough.
Because he got a hold, there was like a roach ran up. He like attracted it by like biting his lip and caused like pickle brine to spew out. And so the roach runs over there and he ends up killing the roach and using his tongue to like manipulate the roach's brain to move its legs
that was
and
it,
stuff.
Right there. That was so gross.
He's like on top of it and like is like learns how I get he knows the brain.
He sit there
so
and
well.
tested the brain to see what did what.
Yeah.
Before he even got on there.
It's like
he was like, this moves
places.
this leg, this moves this, and oh God, it was gross.
I mean, it was. Here's the thing, like people everywhere enjoy Rick and Morty, and it's like I kind of look at it kind of like Big Bang Theory, as in there's a lot of smart stuff in it, but it's made for lack of a better word, the dumb people. Like it's really, it's like a smart person's show, but it's made for everybody.
That might be a better way to put it.
Yeah,
it's made
well,
for everyone.
I watch it. I love it. And I'm not like Einstein or anything. So.
No, but you're more intelligent than what you give yourself credit for. Anyway.
I'm Pickle Lonnie. No, we're not even going to start that.
Too late.
But yeah, that was probably the sewer scene where he's like manipulating the roach mind, and then he starts killing all the rats. Because he actually makes like a roach suit, and then he makes a suit out of the rat pieces. He kills rats, and then ends up making. Like tears rat arms off and connects everything into his head, and has that going for him. And that was the part.
Hi, Juba. That was the part what?
She's never done that.
No. It's all good. It's all good.
But that was the part at which I realized this is not going to be a crappy Rick and Morty episode. They're going to do something cool with this. Now, unfortunately, I had already sort of had a little bit of it spoiled for me. Because I had, somebody had posted a picture. I can't remember who it was, but somebody had posted a picture of Pickle Rick in the full rat hand get up. Yes. The suit that he ran around in most of the episode. And they were like, this is going to be my next cosplay. And I was like, really? I was like, you know how messed up that is? But yeah, I had that spoiled, so I knew he ended up with some kind of mobility.
Yeah, but you don't know how it
But happened. I didn't know how it happened. But I was like, God, what is that? And for some reason, I had thought that he was going to like blow himself up real big and like get bionic hands or something. But that's not quite the way it happened.
No, he actually struggled and worked for it.
And he ends up finally busting up through a toilet. And when that first happened, I thought that he was home. Like I was like, through some weird twist of fate, he's back home, and they're gonna get back. And I was like, I pretty much thought it was over at that point. But no. He ends up going on like this, like action movie killing spree. He's like looks like some kind of like Asian mafia or something.
Yeah.
And he busted up through like their mansion, and they immediately start shooting at him and make an enemy out of him. And
yeah, because they think he's
some kind of like supernatural pickle monster.
Urban legend. If you're wasteful, he comes to get you. That dude was like,
it was like some kind of a urban legend that parents used to tell their kids to make sure, the pickle monster will come get you if you waste your food or something, or don't eat all your dinner.
And that man was like, I only ate half my sandwich and threw it away.
And so Rick ends up killing a couple of people. They send more after him. He kills like 8 more. And they finally get this dude, his name's Jaguar, to which I come to find out in a review is actually voiced by Danny Trejo.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like he's actually he
Interesting.
actually did the voice for that.
That's perfect.
And so, but yeah, they end up sending him after him, and they have this major fight, and I guess they end up they respect each other, after the battle, and so Rick ends up getting him to join him, and they end up blowing the whole place up. But that whole little battle was pretty cool.
It was.
That was really a highlight of the episode. The episode was like one freaking highlight after another.
It really was.
Constantly.
It was really freaking good.
It was. It was amazing. Like, I can actually see myself watching it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those. There's a handful of episodes, like the ones I mentioned earlier, where if you catch them on TV late at night, you're like, this ain't it's Rick and Morty. I'm not a huge fan of this episode, man, but it's Rick and Morty. This is one of them when you catch it on. Hell yeah. Rick and Morty.
Yeah. That's what's up.
But, yeah, this was a great episode. He ends up making it to the therapy session, and the doctor who is doing the therapy session points out a lot of valid points.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, after talking to the family for an hour and then just talking to him for 3 minutes, pretty much figures out everything. And basically gives a complete rundown, and I don't think they really learned anything.
No,
from it.
they finally learned that they had to say what this doctor wanted to hear if they wanted her to shut up.
Yeah, and you could tell that Morty actually enjoyed going to the therapy session and was actually getting something from it, but everybody else is like, eh. But you did see, even before, now we're kind of getting into serious territory here, not just, the comedy of Rick and Morty. Even before season 3, even before, Rick pretty much screwed over Jerry and had him kicked out of the house and everything, Rick it seemed like everything was going good until Rick came along.
Oh, yeah.
And once Rick started taking Morty everywhere, and once Rick started bringing in all the crap into the garage and all this other stuff, suddenly everything went to crap for the family.
I think that might have been just the straw that broke.
You think it may have been
back.
brewing under the surface?
It was probably brewing before. There's no way he did all of it. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't play a major part. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but... And then once he figured, because he didn't really like, Jerry anyway. He didn't like him to begin with. So once he figured he could get under his skin, then he just kept getting more annoying.
That was another thing, because Jerry basically was kind of go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He was like an advertising kind of sort of person. And none of his stuff ever went anywhere, and he was basically dead-ended. And I guess at one point, he didn't have a job.
Yeah.
I mean, I was under the impression that he did. I never actually saw him get fired.
Yeah.
Or maybe he didn't actually work. He just went around pitching ideas to ad companies, and nothing ever really worked out. But he didn't really try anything to improve his situation.
No.
So it wasn't like he was the innocent bystander. No. He did kind of, he never really did his part, I don't think. And he kept doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results. And it wasn't going to work out that way. If I pitch the same ad to people 20 different times, it might be time to either change up or move into a different field of professionalism.
No joke.
But yeah, I mean, I can't really relate to the character of Jerry much. Can't really relate to the character of Rick. I can't really relate to any character in Rick and Morty, but it's just entertaining to watch.
I don't know, you said I acted just like a mom earlier.
Well, it was just because at the very end, Rick basically talked her into forgetting all the therapy and going and having drinks.
You said that when she took the syringe too and left him there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was definitely a play out of my book.
But this episode was amazing, and Here's like a little bit of prediction. I want to hear some predictions here. By the end of this season, do you think Jerry will be back in the house?
No.
Really?
I don't think so. I'll be very surprised.
Wow.
But I think she'll be getting closer to Rick, though.
You think
I think their relationship's
the
gonna
father-daughter dynamic will work out a lot better, and
Yes.
Jerry will not? I honestly think, I don't think that they will absolutely rekindle, but I really think Jerry will. I think they will at least be dating again.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to completely get rid of him. Or
Well, I didn't say they completely.
I don't think they're
going
to get rid of him. I don't think that they're going to completely end that, because they have shown through the infinite timeline dynamic that they are in love. They do, I guess, in a way belong together, no matter what reality it is.
Well, that's true.
And I think that because they've shown us that they're going to make it a point to get them back together somehow, some way.
Yeah. You might be right about that.
And I could be wrong.
Could be right. I don't know.
But I do
you know.
think that Rick is, because we started out, remember at the very beginning of the season when they were in Rick's mind, the bug guy was like showing him all of his memories, and Rick saw back to when like Beth was like a little girl and his wife got killed and everything. And we're starting to delve a lot more into like what makes Rick the man he is this season.
Yeah.
It's not just a bunch of, mindless, funny humor. We're actually starting to figure out what makes him tick and what makes him the antisocial, smart guy that hates everybody. And I think once they identify all that, they're going to work towards, he'll never be, I love the grandkids.
No, yeah, he'll never be that.
He'll never be that, but
you'll be able to understand and relate to him better.
Now, if you notice, Rick is a good man, deep down.
Yeah.
He has that core, because remember this episode, before they destroyed the mansion, he told the guy to give all their money to that guy's daughter. So there was a flash of really good-hearted, deep down caring Rick in there. Like he, there's like that justice that he craves, or he wants people to be done right.
Oh yeah.
And he's just not out for revenge and everything. He actually cares for people. And he had like I think what really, I don't know if did you see the season finale of last episode where they went to Bird Person's wedding?
I don't think I did.
Well, Bird Person was like the half bird, half Asian dude.
Yeah.
We'll have to watch that episode, because I think what happened there really threw Rick off the deep end. Because the woman that they had been, it was one of those things they only showed a couple episodes, but Bird Person met one of Summer's best friends at a party. Rick threw this party and the house got transported out. Well, this girl
I saw that
went to school with Summer hooked up with Bird Person,
Yes.
and they ended up getting married at the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
Well, all the intergalactic people, all Rick's friends,
Yeah.
Bird Person's friends, they all show up at the wedding. And while they're there, the Summer's friend reveals herself to be like an intergalactic agent there to arrest everybody. Because all the criminals that were friends with Rick and Bird Person
my God.
show up. And it was all a huge, like, season-long ruse to get everybody together. Well, she ends up shooting and killing Bird Person. And Bird Person is like Rick's best friend. And after that, he hasn't been the same. So that was like the thing that I think snapped him.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take all this season for him to kind of come back from it. Because he's even more distant and out there than he was. And that's saying a lot. So, anyway, we've kind of waxed philosophical about this episode quite enough. But yeah, that's kind of funny, because we've spent almost a half hour talking about a half-hour show.
But
it's weird though. Yeah, because there is so much to talk about in this show. And you wouldn't think it by watching the show or just looking from the outside looking in. But there are so many different like facets of the show, and it's deep. The show is a lot deeper than somebody just watching briefly. Like there's still that whole deal where like we'll actually have to do a video of like the deepest Rick and Morty moments, because the one thing I think Morty told Summer is, seriously, whenever he eats breakfast every morning, he can look out the window and see where he buried his corpse.
Yes.
Because they don't even live in their original reality anymore.
Yeah.
And did you actually see the episode where they came to the reality?
Yeah.
Like the whole world went to crap and they had to abandon it and come to a new place? That is... Yeah, because during the season premiere, they went back to that original reality.
Yeah, they did.
So, God Almighty, it's just there's a lot of.
He's like, every day I have to look at my grave.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a lot of interesting things that happen in this show, and like it's really, I would easily say this is probably my favorite animated show. Easy, right? You know, like Family Guy, it's cool. Simpsons has had its heyday. But Rick and Morty, it is white hot right now. And if you ever doubt that, just look at the internet. Type in Pickle Rick and see what that brings up.
Pickle Rick.
Yep. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and
let's
wrap this live episode. We did have a handful of people come in. Nobody was in the chat today, but hopefully next week we'll be able to do this either... I probably won't be up late enough to do it Sunday night, but we will do it Monday.
Sunday night's kind of Game of Thrones anyway.
Yeah, Sunday night straight up Game of Thrones. But remember, follow those instructions up there. Hit that subscribe button. Matter of fact, we're gonna kind of narrate you through it here. To enter our loot crate that we're gonna draw for August 13th, subscribe. Hit that big red subscribe button under the video. Send us a screenshot of that subscription to unnentries@gmail.com. Look at that. Right there. Or to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Untitled Nerd Network. Be sure to include your t-shirt, gender, and size. That way you get the right kind of t-shirt. The drawing will be August 13th. Enter our Loot Crate contest. To enter... No, I'm not going to do that again. But anyway, everybody have a good night. Hope you enjoyed this review, recap, live too. I love doing these live recaps. They work. But anyway, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amber.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux. Hit that subscribe button, enter to win that loot crate. And we will see everybody later in the week. Also, August 19th for our Wizard World promotional event at Infinity Flux up in Hickson, Tennessee. We'll be giving away 2 free pairs of tickets to Wizard World Nashville. And I think that's going to be our next event. Yeah,
definitely.
So, anyway, we'll see everybody tomorrow.